Well, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. It's Lynn Taylor here at Common Core Diva. Um, just got an email from none other than Betsy Devos. And in this, and I'm going to read it to you off my tablet, so if you see a little glare on my glasses, you'll know why. U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos delivers on the promise to protect free inquiry and religious liberty. All right, first of all, did you catch that? Religious liberty from the Department of Education. It's not their business, not their constitutional jurisdiction. Okay, this is a press release. I'm going to turn it around and show you right there. That's the press release. Okay, says here today, U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos delivered on her promise to protect free inquiry and religious liberty on campus by publishing the Improving Free Inquiry, Transparency, and Accountability at Colleges and Universities Final Rule. Well, what does that rule say? Let's go look, because she's got a link to it. So let's see if we can find that. All right. Oh, let's see. It's a download. Oh boy. Hang on just a second. Let's see what we can get. So while it's downloading, I'm going to go on. The new rule will ensure the public institutions of higher education unfold fundamental rights. Well, there goes the download, so hang on. Fundamental rights. All right, so here it is right here. Direct grant programs, state administered formula grant programs, non-discrimination on the basis of sex and education programs or activities, receiving federal financial assistance, developing Hispanic serving institutions programs, strengthening institution program, strengthening historically black colleges and universities program, and strengthening historically black graduate institution programs. All right, so of course, this is the final rule. This is for the Office of Post-Secondary Education in the Department of Education. And supposedly, this is all in response to Executive Order 13864, that's 2019, okay, improving free inquiry, transparency, and accountability at colleges and universities. The Department of Education revises current regulations to encourage these institutions of higher education to foster environments that promote open, intellectually engaging, and diverse debate, including through compliance with the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution for public institutions and compliance with state institutional policies regarding freedom of speech, including academic freedom for private institutions. These regulations also require a public institution to not deny a religious student organization of any of the rights, benefits, or privileges that are otherwise afforded to other student organizations. And the particular final rule goes on and on and on, citing Supreme Court cases and all those sorts of things. Now, here's the interesting thing. This particular rule, coming from an unconstitutional department, is using the Constitution in another way to say, hey, we can do this. So don't know if you want to catch the irony of that or not. Where you can find this particular final rule. Hang on just a second. I'm running out of room here. Hang on. I got to put the tablet down. It's a little heavy. You can go to the U.S. Department of Public Education, excuse me, not public education, U.S. Department of Education, and you can look for press releases. And this is the one that you want to look for, okay? U.S. Secretary DeVos delivers on her promise. It is dated today, that's September the 9th. And in the first paragraph where you see final rule underlined and highlighted, that's where you'll find what I was just reading to you. Now, it's interesting, like I said, that they're using the Constitution to say, oh, yes, we're going to guarantee your freedom of speech. Meanwhile, this is coming from the Department of Education, that in no amendment or article or clause was ever supposed to be under the federal jurisdiction. Okay, now, as far as that executive order, I've looked it up, and I'm reading this straight off of the whitehouse.gov. You can go there and look under executive orders, and you can find it. This was dated March the 21st of 2019, and it's titled Executive Order on Improving Free Inquiry, Transparency, and Accountability at Colleges and Universities. Now, if you've ever read any of the executive orders, the first line is always the one that just slays me, because it's just, well, hang on, let me show you, okay? By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows, okay? Now, the president's powers under the Constitution do not or have ever applied to education. Just not there. Congress isn't even supposed to have a jurisdiction over it like they've been doing. So we're talking a usurpation of power here and abuse of power. And another thing, if you know your history about executive orders, they are only to be issued to impact the executive branch. Well, the Department of Education is in the executive branch because it's part of the cabinet. But it was never supposed to be in the cabinet anyway. We know this. So what is the purpose? All right, you saw the title. Well, you heard the title, Improving Free Inquiry, Transparency, and Accountability. Well, what does all that mean? Okay, if you go on and you look, here's the purpose of this executive order. This order is to enhance the quality of post-secondary education by making it more affordable, more transparent, and more accountable. Institutions of higher education should be accountable for both student outcome and student life on campus. Now, we know, and if you listen to much of my work, you know, anytime the government uses the word outcomes, that is a government prescribed outcome for you. You're not supposed to describe a word or define a word with using the word, but it is a government prescribed pattern for you of what they expect you to come out as. Yes, wrenching the gears is wonderful. It sure is. And Allison is my friend. And yes, we have worked together on a lot of stuff. So yes. So anyway, keep going. My administration seeks to promote free and open debate on college and university campuses. Free inquiry is an essential feature of our nation's democracy. We're a republic, not a democracy. And it promotes learning, scientific discovery, and economic prosperity. Okay, we must encourage institutions to appropriately account for this bedrock principle in their administration of student life and avoid creating environments that stifle competing perspectives, thereby potentially impeding beneficial research and undermining learning. Okay, that has to do with speech. Okay, that has to do with what the title of the executive order is. Here's where it comes into with the, making college more affordable. The financial burden of higher education on students and their families is also a national problem that needs immediate attention. Over the past 30 years, college tuition and fees have grown more than twice the rate of the Consumer Price Index. Okay, yes, tell that to everybody who owes a student debt, and they will tell you since the federal government took over the financing of student loans, we've seen this increase. Now, it keeps on going, and it's telling you by the time you get through all the BS that's in this executive order, it's telling you its end goal is to make it so that it's more affordable so that people can get their degrees faster, cheaper, and help with the economy. So it also furthers the goals of the National Council for the American Worker, which was established by Executive Order 13845, July 19, 2018. And this is where the President's National Council for the American Worker was established. And I published an article on that. And it is creating a national workforce that has a task force that comes with it. And instead of you using education for academic prowess, it's using it to slate you for jobs. And if you've looked at the things that are being taught in the higher education system, it has nothing to do with improving academics and everything to do with continuing an agenda. So this is what is so concerning about with this particular final rule that Betsy DeVos has said, oh yes, I'm delivering on a promise. Well, remember, this is an election year, and Trump has counted Betsy DeVos as one of his wins for America and ways to make it great again. And so you know, we have to watch out because Devos is not qualified to be the Secretary of Education. She never was, and she certainly doesn't have any business trying to ensure your freedom of speech or religious liberty. That is not her job. Her job is none of that. Your job is to protect your freedom of speech. Your job is to make sure that you are able to have religious freedom. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that is the latest dog and pony show from the federal government where it comes to education. You can go back, like I said, on the whitehouse.gov and look at the presidential actions executive order, and it's improving free inquiry, transparency, and accountability at colleges and universities. And then you can go on the U.S. Department of Education's website, look for the press release, and read all about how Betsy's so proud of herself because she made us a promise. Oh boy. See you later, guys.